Okay.
Good.
What is your name and your birth date?
Let me see, my name is James R.
James
And-
Richard.
And my birthday is 5 July 1934.
What wars and branch of service did you serve in?
I served in the Navy. I was in the Navy in the Korean War, Vietnam, and
Persian
left
Gulf.
the day before the war in Kuwait.
Persian Gulf? During those wars, what was your rank?
From everything from seaman to master chief.
During each of those wars, where did you serve?
In Korea, I served most of in the Korea time, I spent most of it in Europe. In Vietnam, I spent a lot of it. Let me see. I was stationed in Japan for part of it. And we did some runs back and forth through some of my jobs. I went to Vietnam for assistance on the ship's repair.
Ah. Okay, now Elizabeth's going to ask you some simple questions just to jog your memory, and then we'll go back into war questions. Or should we save, or let's save, never mind, let's save this for the grandparent question.
Now put this on YouTube, right?
No,
I already know, but I don't even know.
this one?
How did you feel about the war?
Pardon?
How did you feel about the war?
A necessary evil.
Let me,
Good answer.
okay, next one.
What were your family or friends' feelings?
How did they feel about the war?
Most of my family were kind of didn't go too much for it because of me being in the service. I was fortunate enough not to be into too many war zones. The person to possibly get hurt.
In what ways did the war change your activities or habits?
Maybe look at things differently under the respect of or tries to make you realize that you are not infallible.
What different responsibilities did you have to take on?
Because in the war in the military's responsibilities are almost consistent in peacetime as it is in wartime. The only major difference is the idea that in wartime the possibility of getting killed is more prevalent.
Higher.
What social activities were you involved in at work or after work with co-workers? So funny.
I did a lot of bowling. Most of the time I spent bowling. I did a lot of beach activities, playing sports on the beach, swimming.
How did you entertain?
We did that one.
Did you worry that our side might not win?
Not too much. I was pretty proud of my country, and the idea that their ability to win was almost a sure thing.
Did you know anyone who was killed or wounded in the war?
Yes, many people.
Tell me about
Corresponding
corresponding
via letters.
via letters or otherwise with friends or family in the service.
How did you communicate with your family?
Mostly with letters.
What effect did the war have on your physical and mental health or that of others you knew?
Actually, I think I became physically more physically and mentally more alert to what's happening on a daily basis.
It became tough.
Do you think that
No. How about this one?
did do you have
Worthwhile experiences because of the war.
Yes, survival.
I'll do this one. What was your most memorable experience, most memorable character, and most humorous experience during the war?
I think the one thing that I remember more than anything else is the experience of realizing that some officers in the military didn't realize the war was going on because they were still thinking in the idea of promotions instead of winning or losing.
Did you think it was right for America to be at war?
In Korean or Vietnam or Persian?
In Korea, we went into Korea because the UN went into Korea. That was the United Nations. In Vietnam, we went into Vietnam because the United States wanted to assist the one half of the country into democracy. And as I say, it didn't work out that way.
What did you think about the enemy?
The ending,
Enemy.
or the enemy,
Bad guys.
very strong and capable.
How did you feel about the war news from television?
Propaganda.
There's a lot of falsehoods that was on on television and radio.
How did you feel about
Anti-war
anti-war
protests.
protests?
I thought mainly most of them were naive children.
Did you?
Let's go this way.
How did you feel when the war ended?
I was just kind of sad and happy at the same time
Why?
because we didn't complete the action we wanted to do. That made me sad and happy because it was over and we could bring our troops back home.
What did you do when you heard the news?
I think I was busy at that time getting my family together to go to Europe.
Did you keep your job or continue other wartime activities after the war?
Yes, my job hardly changed at all.
Is there one thought about your wartime experience that you want to share with future generations?
Most people, the main thing I want to share with people is most people that protest wars never seen them.
Is there anything else?
No.
What were you doing just before you joined the armed forces? Were you a student working?
Yes, I just graduated from high school.
Under that,
Under what?
under what
Circumstances.
did you enter the armed forces? Were you drafted or did you?
I volunteered,
How old were you?
18.
Why did you join the armed forces?
I think it was two or three reasons. One of them was I wanted to travel a little bit. Two, I wanted to leave Steubenville, Ohio. And three, the job opportunities in that area weren't very good because the main thing you could work down there is steel mill.
Are you glad you joined the Navy?
Are you glad you joined the Navy?
Yes.
Did your parents approve of your serving in the military?
Yes.
How did you feel about leaving home?
Happy.
sad and happy.
Why?
It's sad to leave my parents, happy to get out of Steubenville.
Okay, so you want to ask your questions first or the
Yeah.
grandparent questions?
This one.
Huh? Okay.
Then what's the grandparent one? I'm tired.
No, you have to have Okay, Elizabeth has some questions she made up all by herself to ask you.
Okay.
Who was your best friend in school?
Turn off the...
J.C. Collins.
How old were you when you first kissed a girl? What was her name?
Virginia.
Virginia White.
Virginia what?
White.
Virginia White. Google that. Just kidding.
What is your favorite color?
Blue.
Are you colorblind?
No.
Huh. I was right.
What was
What was your favorite Thanksgiving you could remember?
I think the best one I can remember was, actually it was more of a Thanksgiving time frame than anything else, and that was for Patsy's 50th birthday party.
Ah, that's the same one Tina talked about.
Who was the best president ever and why?
Ronald Reagan, because he actually thought of American people as humans and people, and not as subjects.
Who is your favorite kid?
Who's your favorite kid?
I ain't allowed to say. I don't have any favorite children.
Do you
That's a
know?
lot.
Louder, louder, wait a minute. Louder. Go.
Do you know the Muffin Man?
No.
The Muffin Man.
No, I'm sorry, I don't know the Muffin Man.
How many?
It's a Toy Story thing.
How many years have you been married?
I was married for 22 years and a few months.
What's it funny?
Do you know the Muffin Man? That's funny. Okay. Here, you do one section, I'll do one. What were your grandparents
What were your grandparents
and parents?
and parents' full names, dates of birth, places of birth?
I never met any of my, I've met my grandmother on my mother's side, and I never met any other ones.
Do you know their names?
Do you know their names?
Yeah, grandma.
What were the occupations of your parents?
Pardon?
What was the occupation of your parents?
My parents, my dad was a crane operator in a steel mill. My mother was the mother of 11 children.
Oh.
How many children
Wait,
were?
he just said 11 children.
Oh,
Where?
where were you in the
Lineup. Where were you in the lineup of
The oldest boy and the second oldest child.
Generally speaking, what was your childhood like?
Generally speaking, what was your childhood like?
I lived on a farm, so there were lots of chores available. Mainly I went to school, did my chores, and played games.
What one or two stories do you remember most clearly about your childhood?
What's something about my childhood that I remember? I remember that I bribed my parents so that they would buy me a bike when I would have my tonsils removed.
Oh my gosh.
That was one of my favorite times. Another one was when my older sister broke my arm.
How did she break your arm?
How'd she break your arm?
She used me as a cushion as she fell off of a horse.
What was the name of the horse?
What was the name of the horse?
Brownie.
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 Like my
What
friend's
one?
dog is
Oh,
named
wait a minute.
Brownie.
Are there any part
Particularly
happy, funny, sad, or
Instruct-
instructive lessons you learned while growing up?
Yes, don't talk back to your father.
I'll do this section.
Use your mother as a sounding board.
I'll do this section, you do this section.
And study hard in school.
Oh, that's a good one. The next set of questions are about your neighborhood. What was it like where you grew up?
Like I said, I lived on a farm. My nearest neighbors was about a half mile away. And their name were Wiley, and they had children like we had, so they had a bunch of kids, and we associated a lot together. School was we didn't have school buses, so you did a lot of walking back and forth to school.
How far was your school?
About a mile from my house.
That's far, I know. Yes, they had to walk all the time.
Not necessarily.
Oh,
When I drive my parents, I got a bicycle. I get to ride my bike to school.
and no one took it?
No, back in those days, we had good children and good parents, and they did not steal things from each other.
Describe your most important friendship.
JC, I met him when I was in the 4th grade in grade school, and we were friends all the way through high school.
What happened to him?
He's still in Steubenville. He's about the same age as I am.
Did
He got
he-
married fairly young in life, and his father had a car dealership, and he took over the car dealership when his dad passed away. And he lived about 2 miles from where I lived, and we used to go back and forth and play and. with
He
each
didn't
other.
join the military?
No. No, he stayed in Steubenville and got pregnant.
And had a bunch of kids?
No, I think he only had 2.
Oh,
But JC is still there.
oh, we should
The
look him
last
up.
time I checked him.
Is he on Facebook?
Is he on Facebook, Victor?
I never looked, I'm not on Facebook.
Where and how did news of your neighborhood usually flow? Like, you didn't have a television to get news. How'd you guys get news in your neighborhood?
Radio and after radio, television. We got television back
But you're not sure.
50s.
in the 40s.
Oh, okay, now we're gonna ask about your school. I'll do this first one. What are the names and the dates you attended your grammar school, high school, grammar and high school?
Okay,
Wait, I'm gonna do
I started at,
I know, it's taking a while.
oh my God, I can't remember the name of that one. The first school I went to was 6th grade in one room,
I think I'm gonna get mad.
and it was about
Modern Warfare 3?
about a half mile from our house.
I got that came out.
And I went there up to the 4th grade. Then I went to another school, Hills is the name of the school I went to then. I went there from the 4th grade through the 8th grade. They had 4 rooms, 8 grades.
I'm not sure what else.
And when I graduated from there, from the 8th grade there, I went to high school in Mingo, Ohio, and I went there from, I guess from 48 to 52. Graduated 52 from there.
I'm still only on credit for $40.
In Hills, I was there from 44 to 48. And the other school I went to from 40 to 44.
Next one.
I take so much out.
What are your
Louder.
What are your earliest school day memories?
School day, the earliest thing I remember is when my sister broke the teacher's leg.
How'd you break it?
Well, it was in the winter time, and she did something wrong in the class, and the teacher was going to hit her, and she ran out the door, and he ran after her, and there was ice on the door, on the porch, and he slipped and fell and broke his leg.
Oh my God.
That was my older sister.
Are there any teachers or subjects you liked or disliked?
Like math, history, did like Latin. Latin is dead subject, is dead as can be. It's still Roman, no, it's killing me.
Last Sunday, I believe. I was over at my friend's house. We were waiting for
But math and history is probably my two favorite subjects.
And I was playing this one game.
I didn't do bad in chemistry, but I wasn't really interested.
Modern Warfare 3.
Did they even have the periodical tables when you were in
Yes,
school?
they did.
Oh, okay.
How did you figure out how we did electrolysis of water? What's electrolysis?
I don't know. No, I don't know. Electrolysis water?
Electrolysis of water. What happens?
And my buddy's like, alright, we gotta go.
I don't know what.
You separate the hydrogen and oxygen atoms.
When you get that close to it, you get stuff.
You separate the two,
You use stuff?
so that you have now, in one beaker, you have oxygen, in the other beaker, you have hydrogen.
And they did that before you started school?
Yeah.
When I was in high school.
Oh, when you were in high school.
Yeah, like, you gotta look
Okay,
at
Were you involved in
do it
sport?
now.
Were you involved in sport, music, drama, or other extra?
I did a lot of sports that wasn't involved in school. I did play football for 1 year.
Yeah, like a man helicopter.
Wasn't too much fun.
Well, the difference is,
It was about 4 miles I had to walk every day.
I'll do the next one. Ah, 4 miles. He had to walk 4 miles every day. What was your first boss like? Did you learn anything from him?
My first boss I ever had was named Murray Fowler.
Oh, you did?
He had one arm cut off here,
How did it get cut off?
and he was trying to jump a railroad car, and he slipped and fell, and ran over and cut his arm off.
Train.
He was a bowler. He owned a bowling alley. He was my first boss. And he taught me a lot about bowling and about don't waste your money too much.
Oh. He taught you to save your money?
No, he didn't teach me to save it. He said don't spend it real foolishly.
Did you get fired? Did you get promoted? Did you just leave? Why did you leave? I mean, what?
I left there right after I graduated from high school because I was leaving. I'm doing the military.
Next one. Now it's about your romance and marriage.
Yeah.
What do you recall about your first date?
My first date,
Yes.
she was my next door neighbor,
What was her name?
Lorraine Wiley.
Where'd you get that?
Where did you guys go?
On hayride. That's about all we did.
A hayride?
Yeah, we did the barbecue and a hayride.
Did you go on any other dates with her?
No, actually, we didn't hit it off.
The first time you were in love, how did you know you were really in love?
I think I waited until 1970 to fall in love.
Who was that?
Your mother.
Oh. I wonder if that's true. Tell me about how you go loud.
Tell me how you popped the question.
How I popped the question?
How you proposed.
Oh, how did I propose?
Proposed.
Okay, now
I
here,
like this one.
yeah, this is the truth now, you gotta realize this.
Listen.
There was your grandmother and her sister, and we went to Reno. And while we were in Reno, Mom says, well, we might as well get married, and I said, okay.
Say, were you drunk?
Were you drunk?
No. You don't drive to Reno drunk,
You're drunk when you're there.
not necessarily, because we just put
Tell me,
4 days up there.
tell me about
Louder.
Tell me about your wedding ceremony. What year? Where? How many attended?
Did you go on a honeymoon?
Did you go on a honeymoon?
That's
The honeymoon was 4 days long, and the wedding was a county clerk,
what year?
1970, June the 10th.
Who was there? Who was
November
there?
the 10th.
Who was there?
Connie, mother, and myself. Connie was Mom's sister.
No. Never mind. Why did you decide to have kids? Can I ask one?
I just wanted to continue the. Actually, Mom had 6 children when we got married, and they were, and I really liked them. And I
So you
still-
thought you could do better?
I still do. So, Mom asked me, she said, we want to continue this, and I said, yes. And so,
Even though you guys were kind of old?
what do you mean old? We were just a prime of life.
Okay. Now this one. Louder. Okay, I'll do that one. What were the most memorable family vacation or trip you can remember?
One that I really enjoyed was wasn't a complete family, but we took a family vacation with
It's gonna fall.
4 children
Look at that.
and Mom and myself, and we drove around Europe. We took off and went from Italy to Germany, Germany back to Italy, Italy to, then we went down to France, Spain, Portugal, all the way up into Paris, came back down through the middle of Spain, down through France and Spain, and back around the Gulf, the coast of Mediterranean coast back into Italy.
In that trip, what was your favorite place that you visit? What was the one favorite place? Pick one.
I think Palma.
Why was it your favorite?
It was an island off the coast of Japan. I mean, not off the coast, that's right, Spain. It was an island out there, and Mom and I decided we wanted to go out there for a weekend. So we took the car with us, and we got on a ferry, went out there, and there was Patsy and Stella and Tina and some weird kid. Oh yeah, Teresa.
How old was I?
About 1.
So I was too young to remember anything.
No, you were maybe younger than that. I think it was in 75, so you were born in 74. So you weren't even a year old yet.
Yeah, very young.
But still went.
Yeah, we still had to take her. But we had a real good time at that time.
All stuck in the car with a crying baby?
No, Patsy did navigation most of the time, and I drove. And Mom spent, when we were in Palma, Mom spent most of the time in Sears Roebuck. Or was it Montgomery Ward anyway? It was an American store over there in Spain.
Your fur is flying on my feet.
What leisure time activities Are you involved in, or were you involved in?
Most of the time I did leisure time, my leisure time I did some kind of sports activities or bowling mainly. I ran a lot of bowling leagues. I taught junior bowling.
Okay, that's what's bad.
What are your greatest accomplishments bowling
And bowling.
in bowling?
700 series, 300 game.
He's talking about when he scored high in bowling.
What?
I won a bunch of tournaments, but I guess the one that really the most I accomplished in one time was in '67 in Japan. I won the singles, team, and all events that year.
Did you ever get a perfect game?
Yeah, 300 games.
Oh, how many times?
One.
Well,
I got more than that in practice, but only got one.
Not official.
Yeah.
No official one.
Yeah.
What were the most joyous,
Fulfilling.
fulfilling times of your life?
I think that when we had the family over in Europe and Spain, and that in Europe and in Japan and in the Philippines, we had that about almost 15 years there, and it was really a lot of fun because most of the kids got to travel quite a bit
You were there for 15 years?
between the three of them. In '73,
I wasn't there.
In '73, I left the States, okay? And I didn't come back until December of '87. So that was,
Oh,
14 and a half
living
years.
overseas was the most memorable time.
yeah. 14 and a half years overseas.
Yes.
Oh.
See, I lived overseas until I was 13. I think, or 14.
Any sad, tragic, or difficult times you'd care to share, such as losing a loved one, a job, or something you cared about?
What was that again?
Are there any sad, tragic, or difficult times you'd care to share?
Here's a 1, 0. It's okay. 1, 0.
Yeah, I lost both my mother and my father, but we were stationed over in Europe.
How did they die?
Both of them died of natural causes. Both of
Natural
old age
causes.
or cancer or something like that. Mom died of cancer, Dad died of old age.
What kind of cancer?
Colon.
Colon cancer. What lifelong?
What lifelong lessons did you learn from these tough times?
What was that?
What lifelong lessons did you learn from these tough times when you lost your parents?
It's hard to lose parents when your family is so far from where your parents passed away at.
It's hard to be so far away from them.
Yeah, because my dad passed away when Becky was in the hospital.
Oh,
I've been all right.
And
David's not coming?
He has a migraine.
that was difficult because there's no way that I could go home.
were you able to go to your mom's funeral?
No, I couldn't do that either because that was in that was a police action time. We were in we weren't in Israel, but we were off the coast of Israel, watching the Russian aircraft going into Egypt, to make sure that they weren't doing the wrong thing.
If you could do one thing differently in your life, what would that be?
I don't know, I'm pretty happy with the way my life went. So I don't think I'd change much of anything.
That's a good answer.
What have you learned over your lifetime that you like to share with the younger generation?
Younger generation, school, 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 and school.
What?
Going to school.
Go to school, try to learn as much as you can. Do not accept the amount of education you get. Always strive for more than what the teachers will give you. Teachers are like many other human beings. Most of them only do what they have to do. And they don't challenge the children as much as they should.
What were your family's favorite jokes or pranks?
Family's favorite joke
Or prank.
or prank.
Or how about what's the funniest family story you can remember?
My father tried to get me out of the car when I had my broken arm. Because I wasn't going to that hospital.
Who is or was the family comedian?
There's a weird guy in my family called William. Actually, I think his name's Bill. He's what is known as the family comedian. He sit around and tell stories all night long
Samantha, move.
and just keep everybody in stitches.
Last question.
What are you most grateful for
In your life.
in your life?
Friends and family. Family more than anything.
Is that all?
I think that's all, Daddy. Sorry to keep you. Okay, now you want to, when do you want to
Now
do
I wanna
Grandpa Manuel? Wait a second.
Oh, I'm tired.
Wait. I have some, I know, kid questions.
I'm so tired.
How would you describe your spouse? And what did you admire most about them?
I've seen them at the farmer's market.
Them.
Really very good.
Her. What did you admire most?
Oh, really? But the flavor is the same, right?
The flavor is a little the same. Yeah, it's una papa.
She was a very stubborn person. And I think I married her for her because when she gets something in her head, that was what we were going to do. She would never take no for an answer.
That's my mom.
I remember one time we were in Spain, and in Barcelona, Spain, and we went to a hotel, and we went in and we were going to get a room. There was 6 of us, 4 girls and Mom and I, and they said, "I'm sorry, we don't have no room." She kept talking with them, and telling them yes, they did, until finally they did. They gave us room just to shut her up.
That's because she would never take me. When and how did you meet her?
I met her at the CPO club in Mare Island, California. Her and one of her girlfriends used to come in there not quite a bit, but once in a while. And normally we had dance night.
Oh.
And I met her at that time.
How did you find out you were going to be a parent for the first time?
Well, we got married in November, and the first baby was born in September. So I was actually,
I'm sitting in that chair without lifting
I
it
would,
up.
let me see. I was in Boston when I found out about it. Mom called me up and told me.
How did you feel? Sad?
I'm not sure. See, I already had 6 children, but that was the first one of my own. I really didn't know what to think.
Numb?
Yeah, that's a good one.
How did you choose your children's names? Names.
Mom did
Pick them all.
did Tina and I did Teresa.
Why did you pick Teresa?
TNT.
Oh, but why Teresa? Why not?
Because I
Tanya. Or
No, Mom liked Teresa.
I don't think Tanya would do it.
But the Nanette was for the end part. TNT.
well, I know David is a biblical name, and Victor is named after Mom's dad.
Yeah.
Why can't I have that?
What was your proudest moment as a parent? When I graduated. I'm just kidding. All around me. When Tina graduated. Because you didn't think it would happen. When Tina straightened out her life. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that made me feel real good when you straightened out her life.
When Victor and David got a job. Oh, didn't happen yet.
Oh, burn.
Proudest moment.
Probably something with Patsy.
I don't know. I think some of my proudest moments when we all get together and try to determine where we're going to go to eat.
Oh, that's Diego's favorite memories also. When we get together and decide where to go eat.
Like, the entire family's in one room. Or I'll say, alright, well.
Okay.
Get somebody-
What is the one thing you most want people to remember about you? You had great kids.
I think that's one of the things I'm proud about is the kids, the children. I think I would probably want that.
You're a good dad, even though you do have wrong political views.
Stop.
Is it illegal to kill a daughter? What's that?
Yes.
Is it illegal to kill a daughter?
Not in the Middle East.
Not in the Middle East.
Even though your political views have gotten more crazier. You're well read. That's what you.
That's one of the things. That's one of the things that I like about it. When I realized that most of my children had college degrees and I didn't, that bothered me.
Why? You're supposed to want your kids to do better than you.
Hi.
Not really.
I don't mind them
You're not
going-
supposed to be in competition with your kids. Just kidding.
What really I liked about going back to college was the idea of going to college in your 60s and still accomplish something.
You tend to appreciate it more.
Right?
I think you tend to appreciate it more when you're
I
young
enjoyed-
at 18.
I enjoyed it when I was in college
No.
because a lot of the kids looked up to me, and a lot of them, especially because I took a lot of math. I took a business course, and always go in early and then go down in the
I said, I'm not.
cafeteria and sit around and drink coffee, and the kids would come in and sit down and say, okay, what did you get for this question?
Name used to be.
And sit around and help them with that. I helped two of my teachers teach the course, actually. One of them was math and one was in computer science.
Well, I know, being a young student, we always wanted, whenever there was team, group projects, we always wanted to team up with the older people.
Yeah.
They wouldn't want to team with us.
And they wouldn't want to team with us, they would want to just team with themselves.
Yay! Ow!
I enjoyed the time with the kid. There was one student that and she worked down at the Naval Federal Credit Union. And she was taking a course. And she was having trouble with computers because she never heard of BASIC. She never heard of DBase 2. And so we had the program in the BASIC and also in DBase 2. And she kept asking me about this. And I was proud about was the time that when she went in for advancement test and she made assistant manager down there.
And you were able to help her.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the last question, Daddy. I know you're all tired.